Next, we're going to take a look at the elements of academic service learning. What makes this academic service learning? What's special about it? What's some of the lingo you need to know? Let's start off with our idea of participatory and reciprocal partnerships with our community partners. At the Academic Service Learning Center, we view our community partner as a co-educator. Our community partner knows that our goal is to serve our students and to provide our students with optimal learning environments. And our community partner is on board with that. They have committed to helping to make sure that you have a positive experience there. In turn, we also share with them that you know that we're trying to make a meaningful difference for that community partner. And we've gone through training with you, and you understand that this is truly a collaborative partnership. And so when we use the word partnership, we mean that quite literally. It is a true partnership where all parties benefit. Next, we look at relevant service. Any service that we do could be relevant, or could quite frankly be a waste of time and boring. I could say to you today, let's go pick up trash downtown Grand Rapids. And you might think, I paid tuition and now I'm going to go pick up trash downtown. I have a job to do and other things that are very important in my life. And you might not be too excited to go pick up trash. However, if part of our service project was working with Heartside Ministries, and you met some of the homeless people who are served by Heartside Ministries, and they call the homeless people their neighbors. So if you met some of the neighbors and you talked with them and you realize that the service work we're doing to clean up downtown Grand Rapids is actually beautifying the homes of these individuals. Wow, that makes a meaningful difference, doesn't it? And that's not where it ends. We look at how is cleaning up the streets related to the bigger picture in life? How is it related to our government, to our educational setting? Why is it important that we remain active citizens and help those who are less fortunate and strive to have equal opportunities for education? And what leads people to become homeless? And what system could we work through to maybe offset that, to make a meaningful change in the community? And that, if we can jump down to the connectivity component here on this side, that's what we're really talking about, is making sure that our students understand the needs of the population they're serving, understand the impact that they're making in the lives of others, and most importantly, understand how all of that connects into what they're learning in the classroom. When we talk about reflection, it's important to consider the reflection process across several levels. We can look at the level of self, at the level of the actual service organization, and then we can also look at systemic process. When we look at the level of self, we want to ask ourselves questions like, who was I when I started this project? What were my thoughts and perceptions of the population that we served? What were my thoughts about doing a service project? Sometimes in the beginning, students are a bit skeptical, and sometimes they feel imposed upon. And that's a totally natural feeling to have. We're all very busy, engaged in so many things in life, struggling with jobs and commitments and family obligations, all kinds of stuff that we have going on can interfere with our initial appreciation of doing academic service learning. However, once students engage in the process, they really begin to see that the value transcends anything they could have possibly imagined. And that alone is a great learning experience. So when we look at our reflections, we want to think about what kinds of thoughts did you have about doing the service initially, and then towards the end of our service project, you want to ask yourself these same kinds of questions so you can see how you've learned and grown and changed your viewpoints. And those viewpoints might be about yourself and your own capabilities. They might also be about the diversity of others, and how that diversity lends strength to a team as opposed to just focusing on the challenges. Then if we look at the specific outcomes, then we'll see that we've made a meaningful difference for this community partner. We can reflect on what have we done here, and what would have happened if we didn't have time to do this service, or what if our professor hadn't chosen this project? How would the experience for those program participants be different? And reflect on what difference we made for that community partner. And I think it's important for you as students to hear about the significance of your contribution from our community partner. And on many occasions, we're able to coordinate for a speaker to come in, or for you to engage in an open discussion with the community partners. And that's a good time for you to ask those kinds of questions. Then when we look at systemic process, what we're looking at is, what does this mean in the broader scheme of life? So let's say that you are working with the homeless population. How do people become homeless? What happens in their life? What systems have failed them? What systems have been there to support them? And think about, how do those systems relate to one another? So how does policy within our government impact our educational system? How does our educational system impact the ability of people to get jobs? And how does our financial condition, our economic condition, how does that impact what's going on for individual families? And how does that lead to homelessness? Interestingly enough, in our economy today, we all are much more cognizant of the fact that any one of us could be homeless. We're seeing things in the lives of our family and friends that maybe we haven't seen before, maybe we didn't even know to be possible. And that's changing the way we think about homelessness, or about money, or about our ability to control our future. These are all important discussions to have as a class. Your service component, the service project that you actually do, will obviously dictate what kinds of discussions go on in the classroom. But regardless of the type of project you're doing, you can always look at the systemic process piece and figure out, how did things get to this point? And if I wanted to intervene as a citizen, which structure should I target? Which system would make the biggest impact, and how do the systems impact one another? It's also important for you to realize that the class dynamics are a little bit different in classes with academic service learning. The faculty who choose to use academic service learning are a little bit different. Those faculty tend to be very hands-on. They tend to understand that students are much more capable and competent than most give credit for. And these faculty are willing to risk allowing you to learn in a real environment. It's very easy for a faculty member to go through a PowerPoint and really control that learning in an assigned way, to go through the things on the board and convey certain concepts to you. It's much more difficult for a faculty to say, I'm going to put my students in this environment. And in this environment, I know meaningful learning will emerge. And to be able to be spontaneous and extract those learning opportunities is an art and a challenge for faculty and for students alike. So as you're going through this process, you have to be an active learner. Your professor is counting on your active engagement, and your professor will also very artfully help you extract the meaning of the service through assignments that will help you to tap into your course concepts and the general learner outcomes. And your instructor will be heavily engaged with the community partner and making sure to tailor projects in such a way that they will target and tap into the learning that's relevant to your course. But it really is a very active, participatory kind of learning style, and that may be a little bit new for you. Faculty will be looking to you and to step up to the plate and take leadership roles.